Hi, this is Caroline Melberg with Small Business Mavericks, and today we're going to talk about part 2 of the 7 things you can do to make Google fall head over heels in love with your website. Well, part 2 is all about keywords. One of the most important things in terms of search engine optimization is knowing your keywords and finding the right keywords for your website, and that's what this part of the video series is all about. Keywords are what the search engines use to determine what your website is about. They are used on your web pages and in the code of your website. Remember, search engines rank web pages, not whole websites. So every page of your website is an opportunity for you to rank for different relevant keywords. Keywords can also be key phrases, so several words together. For instance, for my business, I might rank for marketing, one word, but I also might rank for small business marketing or small business internet marketing. Keywords occur naturally on every page of your site. If you're writing about your business, if you're writing about your industry, you are going to use keywords. The trick is to find the right keywords that people actually search online when they're looking for your products and services, and using those in the right way on your website. So how do you find keywords for your website? One of the tools that I use is called the Google Keyword Analyzer. Now you can go to Google and just type in Google Keyword Analyzer and it'll come up. You'll find a link for it. I'll bring that up here, and we're going to look for a rather obscure term called hydraulic fittings. That's the example we're going to use for this video series, and I'll show you how we're using that in terms of broad keyword research as well as specific keyword research. You can see with the keyword tool over here we've got the choice of either entering a descriptive word or phrase or website content, for example, your URL or your web address. I'm going to enter a keyword or phrase. I'm going to enter hydraulic fittings. And when I do that and press Get Keyword Ideas, you'll see that Google provides me with a very long list of keywords that might work for my website. Now, this is where your business intelligence kicks in, and you have to look at this and determine whether each of these keywords actually make sense for your business. If you are running a business that sells hydraulic fittings and adapters, then you will know whether you actually sell pneumatic fittings, hydraulic valves, hydraulic pumps, all of these different keywords, and you'll know whether those are pertinent to your website. But what you also want to look at when you're looking at this page are these columns: advertiser competition and search volume. So advertiser competition talks to how many advertisers are competing for these keywords. Now we're talking about natural search engine optimization. We're not talking about paid advertising. But this data is pooled by Google or pulled by Google because of their involvement with pay-per-click paid advertising. And so you can see that hydraulic fittings has very high advertiser competition. That means there's going to be a lot of people, a lot of websites competing for hydraulic fittings in terms of trying to rank for that keyword. Also, you'll see search volume is mediocre. I mean, it's not really high, but it's not desperately low either. So it's a good keyword in the from the standpoint of the search volume, but from the advertiser competition, it's going to be a difficult keyword to rank for because it's got high advertiser competition. Whereas if you compare it with hydraulic hose fittings, which is more specific, you'll see that we've got average advertiser competition, and we've also got fairly decent search volume. I mean, it's low, but it's not zero. And that means there are people who actually look for hydraulic hose fittings, and if that's something that you sell, that's a pretty specific request. The people who use that keyword to search are probably looking to buy hydraulic hose fittings. So that's a trick in terms of determining your keywords, and we'll come back to that and explain that in more detail in just a bit. Another tool that is very popular in terms of determining keywords is called WordTracker. It's at wordtracker.com, and it is a subscription service that you can sign up for that will help you do this research and walk you through it. Another tool that I use is called spyfoo.com. When you go to spyfoo.com, you are given the opportunity to enter either a domain name, your web address, or a keyword. So in this instance, instead of entering a keyword, I'm going to enter a domain name. Now, Brennan Incorporated happens to sell hydraulic fittings and hoses and adapters. So I'm going to do a search on Brennan Inc. and see what SpyFu can tell me about them. Now, when I scroll down on their page, first thing I want to look at is the organic results. We'll see that they aren't ranking very well for many keywords. They rank number 1 for their name, which is great, but most people, if they don't know Brennan, they aren't going to find Brennan online because they aren't really ranking for any of the keywords that would be associated with hydraulic fittings and adapters. Tube fitting comes closest in their 48, so that's not very good ranking in terms of the organic results. But another place to look when you use SpyFu is the top organic competitors. Here is a place where you can find your competitors that you may not know about online. You can go through and actually click on all of the different competitors and see the information about them, see what keywords they're using, and get ideas for your keywords by looking at what your competitors are doing. Another way to do that is to go to your website. So we'll use Brennan as an example, but you could go to your competitor's website as well and do this. So let's go to Brennan's website, and if you go to View Page Source, you're going to see the keywords that are used within this website, or at least on this web page. On this web page, you see here it says Meta Keywords Content, and here are the keywords: hydraulics, Brennan, hydraulic fittings, adapters, O-rings. You can see the list goes on and on. It's kind of what I call a Google wish list because they've included just about everything they sell in their keywords for their one page, for their home page. And that's not what you want to do. You want to optimize your pages for, at max, 3 keywords per page. But regardless, you can pull up your competitors and see this information and get ideas for your keywords. So that's why I showed you that. That's another way to find keywords. So look at the advertiser competition for each of those keywords that you find and the search volume, and you try and find a balance. If you think of it this way, you're looking for the sweet spot between high search volume, low advertiser competition, and a keyword that's relevant to your business. Now, a lot of times you will find people who will come to you and say, I can get you ranking number 1 in Google for $49.95 a month. And they probably can. But what they aren't taking into account are the intersection of these 3 factors. It will either be a keyword that is not relevant to your business, or it is a keyword with such low search volume that no one ever searches. Those keywords do you no good. So you want to find that sweet spot, that intersection between high search volume, low advertiser competition, or medium advertiser competition, and a keyword that's actually relevant to your business. So let's do an example based on the websites we were talking about earlier. A high search volume keyword would be hydraulics. That's very broad. Looking for hydraulics, you would get a lot of results returned to you, and it wouldn't be very specific to what you were actually looking for. If your business is Brennan Incorporated, you want to have people find you for keywords specific to the products you sell, not hydraulics in general. I mean, there are all kinds of hydraulics, and you don't handle products for all of them. So you want to make sure that the keywords that you're choosing are relevant to your business. If you look at a keyword that has low advertiser competition, hydraulic fittings and adapters is much more specific, and it has very low advertiser competition. But right in the middle, when you do a search on the Google Keyword Analyzer, you'll find a keyword called hydraulic fittings. And that keyword is a wonderful balance between hydraulics, which is very high volume search, and hydraulic fittings and adapters, which is very specific search. Hydraulic fittings is right in the center. It has a very nice level of advertiser competition, and it has a very nice search volume, meaning people actually look for it, and it's applicable to, in our example here, Brennan Inc., our example business. So the more specific the keywords get, the less competition there is, but it's also easier to make a sale. Hydraulic fittings and adapters is much more specific than hydraulics, for example. Hydraulics will bring more traffic, but hydraulic fittings and adapters will bring more sales. The real key is to find the sweet spot. In our example, hydraulic fittings. It's specific enough to have decent search volume without a ton of competition, and it's specific enough to generate conversions or sales too. And after all, that's what it's all about. So that's it for part 2. Check out part 3 in our series, where we are going to tell you, now that you know how to find your keywords and which are the right keywords, we're going to show you in part 3 how to use your keywords in the right way on your website. If you have questions, check us out on the web at smallbusinessmavericks.com. Thanks for watching.